Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something right now. Are you truly happy? Not the kind of happiness you post on Instagram, not the one that depends on your paycheck, your partner, or how many likes you get on a photo. I'm talking about the happiness that radiates from within you, the kind that can't be shaken, no matter what life throws your way. Now let's be honest, most people are waiting. They're waiting for happiness like it's a delivery that's been delayed. They say, I'll be happy when I get the job, when I find the right person, when I have more money, when the weekend comes. Let me tell you a brutal truth. If you keep postponing your happiness, you'll die waiting. Happiness is not a reward. It's not a result. It's not something that just happens to you. Happiness is something you create. Every day, with every choice, every thought, every action, you are either moving toward your happiness or away from it. We've been conditioned to believe that success leads to happiness. That if we grind long enough, hustle hard enough, and finally make it, then we'll be happy. But how many people do you know who've made it and are still miserable? They have the car, the house, the followers, but inside they feel empty. Why? Because happiness isn't in what you have, it's in who you become. Listen closely. Happiness is a habit. It's a decision. It's a muscle. You don't need the perfect circumstances. You need the right mindset. Let me tell you what happy people do differently. First, they take responsibility. They don't blame their past. They don't blame their parents, their boss, the economy, or the weather. They say, this is my life. I'm in charge. And that's not easy. It means no more excuses. No more what ifs. It means owning your story, even the painful chapters, and using them as fuel, not chains. Second, they live with purpose. You want happiness? Then stop living by accident. Stop drifting through life hoping things will magically change. Ask yourself, what lights me up? What do I care about? What impact do I want to make? Then go after that like your life depends on it. Because it does. When you live with purpose, even the pain becomes meaningful. Even failure becomes fuel. Suddenly you're not just surviving. Third, they master their emotions. Here's the truth. Emotions are like muscles. You can train yourself to feel gratitude. You can train yourself to feel joy. You can train yourself to bounce back from disappointment faster than ever. Most people let their emotions control them. They feel angry, they react. They feel scared, they freeze. They feel sad, they give up. But happiness isn't about never feeling bad. It's about knowing how to shift your state. It's about recognizing, I feel off today, but I have the power to change that. Let me give you a strategy right now that can transform your emotional state in seconds. Ready? Hand your physiology. Move your body. Jump, stretch, dance, scream. Whatever it takes to break the pattern. You can't be depressed and empowered in the same body posture. It's physically impossible. Now, once you shift your body, shift your focus. What can I be grateful for right now? What's great about this moment? How can I grow through this? Your brain is a search engine. Ask it the right question, and it will find the answer. Ask it, why am I such a failure? You'll get garbage. Ask it, what's one thing I can do right now to feel better? Now you're back in the driver's seat. Fourth, happy people give. You want a shortcut to happiness? Serve. Do something for someone without expecting anything in return. Hold a door. Send a message to someone you love. Give your time, your attention, your presence. That's real wealth. You see, contribution creates fulfillment. It reminds you that you're not alone. It reminds you that you matter. Because deep down, happiness is not just about you. It's about using your gifts to make the world a little better. And finally, happy people choose progress over perfection. They know they're not finished products. They know they'll stumble, fall, and mess up. But they also know that as long as they keep growing, life keeps moving. Progress equals happiness. You don't need to leap a mountain today. Just take one step forward. One better decision. One more moment of courage. And suddenly, you're not stuck. You're in motion. That's where joy lives. Not in the finish line, but in the journey. So I want you to decide right now. No more waiting. No more excuses. No more blaming the world for what you haven't created yet. You've got something powerful inside you, something the world needs. And happiness, it's not waiting for you at the end of the road. It's waiting for you to start building it now. Not next month, not someday, now. Because the truth is this: you don't find happiness. You don't chase happiness. You create it. And the moment you start owning that truth, the moment you wake up every day and say, today I create my happiness, that's the moment your life begins to change. So stand up, shake off the fear, the doubt, the hesitation, look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am the creator of my happiness. And I choose joy. I choose growth. I choose life. Now go out there and live like it. Happiness is not found, it is created. That's the truth most people overlook. We live in a world that constantly tells us happiness is somewhere out there, in a relationship, a job, a house, a number in your bank account. We've been conditioned to believe that happiness is a reward we earn only after we achieve, succeed, or reach some external milestone. So, people spend their whole lives chasing something they think will finally bring them peace, only to realize that even when they get it, the feeling is temporary. It fades. And they're off chasing the next thing, the next fix, the next illusion. The problem isn't in wanting more. The problem is thinking that more is where happiness lives. It's not. Because happiness is not something you stumble upon at the top of the mountain. It's something you build with every step on the way up. Creating your happiness means choosing it every single day. It means making a decision to not wait for circumstances to align before you allow yourself to feel joy, peace, or fulfillment. It means recognizing that your happiness is your responsibility, not your partner's, not your boss's, not society's, yours. This doesn't mean life will always feel good. It doesn't mean you fake a smile when things fall apart. What it means is that even in the chaos, you hold the power to find meaning, to choose your mindset, to shift your perspective. Happiness isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing how you respond to it. You create happiness through the habits you form, through the people you surround yourself with, through the thoughts you entertain, and the energy you give to them. If you constantly feed your mind with negativity, comparison, fear, and doubt, don't be surprised when your emotional state mirrors that. But if you feed your mind with gratitude, growth, contribution, and love, your inner world will reflect that too. Happiness is created when you learn to appreciate where you are while working toward where you want to go. It's created in the small, quiet moments. The morning breath of fresh air, the hug from someone you care about, the sense of progress after doing something difficult. It's not always loud or dramatic. Often it's subtle, but it's real. It's also created when you stop outsourcing your worth. So many people attach their happiness to other people's approval. They want validation, they want to be accepted, liked, praised, and when that doesn't come, they feel empty. But real happiness doesn't come from being liked, it comes from liking yourself, from knowing that you're living in alignment with your values, that you're doing your best, growing, evolving, becoming the person you were meant to be. Creating your happiness means you stop waiting and start acting. It means you shift from being a passive observer of life to an active participant. You don't wait for good days, you create them. You don't wait for someone to bring you joy, you bring it into your space. You don't wait to feel motivated, you take action until the motivation shows up. And here's the truth, you already have everything you need to begin. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need permission. You just need the courage to begin. The courage to choose a mindset of creation over one of reaction. Because when you create your happiness, you take control of your experience. You stop letting life happen to you and start shaping it around the energy, the standards, and the vision you hold. Take full responsibility for your life. This is one of the most powerful shifts you can make if you want lasting change and real happiness. As long as you blame other people, your past, or your circumstances, you give away your power. You become a passenger in your own life instead of the driver. The truth is you can't control everything that happens to you, but you are 100% responsible for how you respond. And that response shapes your future far more than the event itself ever could. People who live empowered lives don't waste time pointing fingers. They don't make excuses. They don't wait for someone to come rescue them or make things better. They understand that no one is coming, that their life is in their hands, that every choice they make, every action they take or avoid is either building their future or holding them back. It's not easy, but it's the truth. And owning that truth is the beginning of real freedom. When you take full responsibility, you stop saying things like, I can't, it's not fair, or they won't let me. You start saying, what can I do about it? What's within my control? How do I move forward from here? This mental shift turns problems into possibilities. It takes you from victim to creator. And once you step into that role, you'll start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. It's tempting to blame. Blame gives you a temporary sense of relief. It lets you off the hook. It makes you feel like your pain or frustration is someone else's fault. But that relief is short-lived. Because deep down, you still feel stuck. And the more you blame, the more powerless you become. The more you say it's their fault, the more you believe you have no control. And if you believe that, you'll never change anything. Responsibility is not about fault, it's about ownership. Maybe you didn't cause the pain, maybe you were dealt a tough hand, maybe life hit you hard. But even then, it's your responsibility to decide what you do with it. Whether you carry it forever or grow from it. Whether you let it define you or refine you. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself, it means refusing to give your power away. This mindset applies to everything. Your health, your relationships, your career, your emotional well-being. If you're not happy with something, ask yourself, what part did I play in this? That question is not about guilt. It's about growth. It's about finding the leverage to make a change. Because if you had a role in creating it, you also have the ability to change it. People who take full responsibility stop waiting for the perfect time. They stop waiting for motivation. They stop waiting for the conditions to be ideal. They act, they adapt, they move forward even when it's hard. because they understand that their life will only change when they do. Taking responsibility means being honest with yourself. It means asking the hard questions. Am I showing up fully? Am I being disciplined? Am I honoring my potential? It means confronting your habits, your patterns, your fears, not to shame yourself, but to elevate yourself. Because self-awareness is the foundation of self-mastery. And once you accept that you are responsible for your attitude, your effort, your actions, and your reactions, you step into a different level of power. You stop being at the mercy of the world and start shaping your own experience. You stop reacting to life and begin creating it one intentional choice at a time. Live with purpose, not by accident. Most people are living on autopilot, moving through life based on habits, routines, and outside expectations. They wake up, go through the motions, and end the day wondering why they feel empty or unfulfilled. It's not that they're lazy or lack potential. It's that they've never stopped to ask themselves what really matters. Purpose isn't something you find in a book or from someone else's opinion. It's something you uncover by looking inward and listening to what drives you at your core. When you live with purpose, every day carries weight. Your actions have intention. Your decisions align with something greater than comfort or convenience. You stop chasing distractions and start chasing meaning. You wake up with a reason that pulls you out of bed, even when life gets heavy. That purpose, it gives your life a sense of why, and that why becomes the anchor when everything else feels uncertain. Living without purpose is like sailing without a compass. You may move, you may drift, but you're not truly going anywhere. You might be busy, but you're not fulfilled. You might achieve things, but they don't satisfy you deeply. That's because success without purpose feels empty. It's possible to win at the wrong game, to climb a ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. Purpose makes sure that your effort, your energy, and your sacrifices are being poured into something that actually matters to you. Purpose doesn't have to be some grand mission that changes the whole world. It just has to be something that gives your life meaning, something that lights a fire in your soul. It could be creating, helping, building, solving, serving, learning, or leading. The key is that it comes from within. Not from pressure, not from comparison, not from ego, but from truth. You don't stumble into purpose, you choose it. You decide to stop reacting and start creating. You get honest about what you care about, what your strengths are, and how you want to contribute. That clarity shapes your goals, your boundaries, and your identity. You become someone who doesn't just go through life, you go after it. Living with purpose also helps you endure pain. It transforms suffering into sacrifice. It turns obstacles into stepping stones. Because when you know what you're working toward, you can tolerate discomfort, you can push through resistance, and you can keep showing up even when it's hard. Purpose is the fuel that keeps you going when motivation runs out. It gives you a reason to persist when most people quit. Purpose simplifies your life. It helps you say no to things that don't matter. It eliminates distractions, drains, and drama. You stop chasing everything and start focusing on the few things that truly align with your vision. You learn to protect your energy. You stop living for the approval of others and start living for what makes you feel alive. Purpose also inspires others. When you live with intention and clarity, it impacts everyone around you. People can feel when you're living aligned, when your energy is grounded in something deeper. You become a source of strength, of direction, of meaning, not because you're perfect, but because you're real, and because your life is being lived from the inside out. To live with purpose is to take control of your narrative, to stop being a character in someone else's story and become the author of your own. It means leading yourself first so you can lead others better. It means standing for something so you don't fall for everything. It means refusing to let life pass by while you're busy trying to fit in, and instead choosing to stand up, stand out, and live intentionally. Master your emotional state daily. Your emotions shape the quality of your life more than any external circumstance ever could. You can have all the success in the world, all the achievements and material rewards, but if you're constantly stressed, angry, anxious, or unfulfilled, it won't matter. On the other hand, you can have very little in terms of resources, yet if you've trained yourself to live in a state of gratitude, peace, energy, and joy, you'll feel rich in ways most people never do. That's the power of emotional mastery. It puts you in control of your internal world, no matter what's happening in the external one. Most people think emotions just happen to them, that they're a result of circumstances, or that they have no control over how they feel. But that's a lie we've been taught. The truth is, emotions are patterns. They're conditioned responses based on focus, language, physiology, and past experience. And just like any pattern, they can be changed, broken, and reprogrammed. Mastering your emotional state begins with awareness. You have to pay attention to what you're feeling, and even more importantly, what's creating that feeling. Are you constantly focusing on what's wrong, what's missing, or what you can't control? Are you using negative language with yourself and others? Are you moving and breathing like someone who's defeated or someone who's in charge? Your emotional state is being shaped in every moment by what you focus on, what you say, and how you move. You can shift your state instantly by changing any one of those factors. Change your focus. Ask a better question. Look for what's good. Practice gratitude. Change your language. Replace complaints with affirmations. Stop using disempowering words. Speak like someone who believes in growth. Change your physiology. Stand taller, breathe deeper, move with energy. Shake off tension. These may sound simple, but they're powerful tools used by peak performers around the world. Because when you control your state, you control your experience. The goal isn't to never feel negative emotions. You're human, and emotions are a part of your experience. Anger, fear, sadness, frustration, they all serve a purpose. The goal is to learn how to process them, not dwell in them, to feel them without letting them take the wheel, to acknowledge them without letting them define you. You become the observer of your emotions, not the slave to them. Daily practice is key. Just like physical fitness, emotional fitness requires repetition, discipline, and consistency. Start your day with intentional focus. Don't wait for something to happen that makes you feel good. Create that state yourself. Use a morning routine that centers your mind, activates your body, and sets a positive tone. Meditate, journal, visualize, move. Do something that primes your mind for clarity and resilience. Throughout the day, notice when you start slipping into low states. Don't let stress compound. Interrupt it. Break the pattern. Ask better questions. Change your environment. Take a walk. Breathe. Reset your energy before it spirals out of control. Emotional mastery is about catching the shift early and redirecting it consciously. Surrounding yourself with the right people also plays a huge role. Emotions are contagious. If you're around negativity, it will infect your mindset. But if you're around people who challenge, uplift, and encourage you, your emotional baseline will rise. Choose your influences with intention. Emotional mastery isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing how you respond to it. It's about creating a mental and emotional home that's empowering, not destructive. Because no matter what happens in life, your greatest power will always be your ability to choose your state. That choice, practiced daily, becomes the foundation for a life of peace, purpose, and strength. Progress, not perfection, leads to lasting joy. One of the biggest traps people fall into is believing that everything must be flawless before they can feel fulfilled. They wait for the perfect body, the perfect relationship, the perfect career, the perfect plan, and in doing so, they delay their happiness indefinitely. But perfection is a moving target. It's never truly reached. It always shifts, evolves, raises the bar. And if perfection is your goal, you'll constantly feel like you're falling short. That's not a formula for happiness. It's a setup for frustration. Progress, on the other hand, is always within reach. It's measurable, achievable, and deeply satisfying. When you're focused on getting just a little bit better every day, you feel alive, you feel momentum, you feel a sense of growth that nothing external can give you. That's what creates lasting joy, knowing that who you were yesterday is not as strong, wise, or focused as who you are today. People who seek perfection often avoid action. They overthink, procrastinate, and get stuck in fear of failure. They become obsessed with getting everything right instead of getting started. But progress doesn't require perfect conditions. It just requires movement. It requires courage. It requires a willingness to be uncomfortable, to stumble, to try again. Because every step forward, no matter how small, builds confidence. It creates evidence that you're becoming better, and that fuels more progress. The feeling of progress is addictive in the best way. It gives you purpose. It makes you feel like your efforts matter. And it shifts your identity from someone who's waiting to someone who's creating. You start trusting yourself more. You stop comparing yourself to others and start comparing yourself to who you were last week, last month, last year. That's where real pride comes from. That's where fulfillment lives. Progress doesn't always look exciting. Sometimes it's slow. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But as long as you're still moving, you're still growing. And growth is what we're wired for. It's one of the deepest human needs, to expand, to stretch, to evolve. When you're growing, you're winning. Even if no one sees it. Even if the results aren't instant. Even if you're still far from where you want to be. Chasing perfection also kills creativity. It makes you afraid to experiment, to play, to take risks. But progress invites you to be bold. It invites you to try things, to learn through action, to discover new parts of yourself. It gives you permission to fail forward. Because when your goal is growth, mistakes aren't shameful. They're useful. They teach. They guide. They build resilience. The people who succeed long-term in life aren't the ones who start perfectly. They're the ones who keep going, who stay consistent, who show up on the days they don't feel like it, who push a little harder when things get tough, who understand that mastery is the result of thousands of imperfect repetitions. It's never about doing it right every time. It's about doing it enough times to get better. Living with a mindset of progress also changes how you treat yourself. You stop being your biggest critic and start becoming your biggest coach. You encourage yourself through the challenges. You celebrate the small wins. You build emotional momentum by recognizing how far you've come. And that self-recognition, that sense of internal reward, is one of the most sustainable forms of happiness there is. Progress turns the journey into something meaningful. It transforms pressure into purpose. It reminds you that you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be moving forward. Every effort counts. Every step adds up. And over time, those small, consistent moves create a life that feels fulfilling, grounded, and deeply aligned.